Straight into the Spurs update. Quite a bit to speak about. We're going to start off talking on Rafa Leao, who I thought had a sensational performance last night for Portugal. I think everyone's kind of been like umming and ahhing about Rafa Leao, about his attitude problems. Is he still good? All this kind of stuff. And I think everyone watching him last night were being like, well, you know what?
Could do with a bit of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the pace he had on him to terrorise the fullback, that shot that cannoned off the bar, that assist, unbelievable cross. Wow, I was blown away by his performance last night. But the reports are, Gazzetta Italia saying that Spurs have been offered the chance to sign Rafael Leao. AC Milan could also be open to an initial loan move as well, which is very interesting. Damasio said that AC Milan value him at 60 to 70 million euros. And SZY says a deal to take Rafael Leao from AC Milan to Tottenham Hotspur is understood to be firmly in Spurs' hands. His agent, George Mendes, has offered him to Spurs twice already.
Which implies, well, we rejected him once?
Well, I guess so. I don't know. Maybe... Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it's just like, oh, well, we're thinking about it. And he's like, well, he's still here. He's still here, It's interesting because obviously Spurs have dealt with George Mendes already in this transfer window with Mateus Fernandes.
And he played with Tonali.
He played with Tonali at Milan as well, yes, obviously. But, yeah, I mean, I was very unsure about Rafael Leao. After seeing him last night, I kind of think, like, maybe we should, like, punt on a loan because like the upsides of this is massive, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm warming more and more to it. I think, look, there are definitely concerns and question marks, and they don't go away after one good World Cup performance. I think that what we saw yesterday is what we knew he's capable of, isn't it? That's the kind of quality we know that Rafael Leao has. He's super quick, unbelievable kind of technical ability. That cross for the assist was absolutely fantastic. He had a great effort which hit the underside of the bar as well from the edge of the area. And what I was saying yesterday, I think if we're looking to bring in two wingers, we probably want one like a Savinho or Nusa, who's like super dribbly, creates chances, a bit relentless. But then we also need someone who can maybe pull a rabbit out of the hat, who's got that little bit of special sauce. And Leao definitely is the guy to bring that. He's the guy that if it's 0-0 with 15 minutes to go, he could pull something out of the bag out of nowhere. He's the guy where you're not having the best game and you're struggling for rhythm, you're struggling for fluidity. He can just come up with something and win you the game. That's the quality he has. On the flip side, I was watching him very closely yesterday, and to be fair, I want to be completely fair to him. He was actually tracking back quite a bit, so fair play. But there has been accusations of lack of defensive responsibility from him. Doesn't do his duties. Maybe he feels like he's bigger than the team. He feels like he's the star. He can kind of slack off a bit because what he provides the other end makes up for it. And maybe if you're Messi or Ronaldo, that can be the case, but I don't know if Leao is that good where he can be a liability off the ball. We would have to maybe rectify that. I was also watching him yesterday closely, and there were occasions yesterday, I have to say, as well as he played, and he played brilliantly, there were a couple of occasions where he just was very lackadaisical for no reason. Why he had the fullback squared up and he had all that space. He was like, I don't fancy this one. And I was like, why? What is it about is he just sometimes switches off, or is it a mentality thing? Why is he not relentless? Like, I feel like if it was a Savinho or Nusa in that position, he goes for it. But for some reason, Leao, in a couple of occasions yesterday, he was like, he got played quickly and he had all the space to run into. He just didn't fancy it and he just passed it back. He was a bit lazy. So I was looking at that thinking, okay, question mark there. But you have to say, more often than not, when he did get the ball, he was the spark for Portugal. He was by far Portugal's best player. He was the one who was making things happen yesterday. And I also think maybe, has he been in Milan too long? Does he just need a fresh environment? He wants to come to the Premier League. He wants a new challenge. Maybe, he's been at Serie A and he's been in Milan. Also, Milan have been a bit of a mess as well over the last few years. Does he want, something to spark him into life? Could Tottenham be that thing? I would definitely consider a loan, because I think if you get him on... the only thing I'd say about a loan is, you could fall into Moani territory in a sense that you're getting a player only here for a year who doesn't seem that committed, and because he knows he's only here for a year, so you've got to be wary of that. But I would definitely consider a loan, because if he can convince us he's our guy and he can convince us he is that star player that we need, and we can get him for a decent fee, like 60 to 70 million, and then we got one hell of a player on our hands, and we have got a real star in the making, and he could be that final piece in the puzzle for our forward line. He could be that good, but there's just still those concerns, aren't there?
The thing is with those concerns, and why I don't think it will be like a Moani, because I don't think Moani ever wanted to come to Tottenham. He came to Tottenham as like a kind of last resort. I think his heart was always set on Juventus. He wanted to go back to Juventus at the back end, well, at the start of the season. Now he looks like he is going back to Juventus, and you might see a reinvigorated Moani next season, like what we saw at Juventus, the season before last. So with Rafael Leao, he's come out at the end of the season. He said, he wants a new challenge. He wants to move to the Premier League at his priority. So I think if we were to take him on loan with an option to buy, I think you're going to see Leao, trying his hardest, whether it be to stay at Tottenham or to stay in the Premier League, but definitely to stay in the Premier League at the bare minimum. So I think you might get a reinvigorated Leao if he was to come to the Premier League and Tottenham Hotspur, because I think it's a place that he wants to be and he wants to play at. And he's at the age of 27 now, coming into the prime, or he is in the prime years of his career. He's just had, whatever you want to say about Leao, he has always had the goal contribution returns. Good or bad seasons. This season just gone, he's probably had his worst goal contribution return. However, it's still decent. And he did also come out at the end of the season and said that he's been playing with injury for the last 5-6 months, and he's finally over it now. So
he looked over it yesterday, that's for sure.
Yeah. So he said he's been playing through the pain barrier for the last 5 or 6 months. So yeah, it was just interesting to hear that from.
Well,
from
was that he
Leao.
said after the game yesterday?
No, he said at the end of the season.
Ah, right.
So I'll be very interested in bringing Rafael Leao to Spurs. I agree with what you're saying. Bring in 2 different profiles of wingers, bring in a Savinho, bring in a Rafael Leao on loan alongside him, and then you can focus on the striker, whether it be Krupi or whoever else. I think that is a complete regeneration of that forward line, and it's something to be really excited about. And with Rafael Leao, where he is going to sell shirts, he's going to be an exciting talent, exciting signing, and he's a big name. It's talking about a big name. We've obviously brought in a big name in Tonali, but if we brought in Rafael Leao, he'll be the biggest name that we've brought in this summer.
Yeah, we do have a Milan fan in the chat. He says, hi guys, it's from Josh ACM. I'm a Milan fan, and I have to say, temper expectations with Leao. Fantastic talent, but performances are only at the level of 1 out of every 3 games. Very inconsistent. That's just a lot of what we heard about Leao, isn't it? From a lot of Milan fans. We've had Iki in our chat saying very similar things about Rafael Leao. He's obviously a big Milan fan as well. So the thing is with Leao, when you see what he can do like yesterday, it's like, okay, you just got to get that guy in our team. He's that good. He can make the difference in any given game. But we're not watching him over a long stretch of games, are we? We're not watching him over a whole season. And if we were, would we have a different opinion of him? Maybe that's the case. I think no one disagrees. The talent is there. He's got unbelievable ability. He comes in as easily our best attacker talent-wise, and in certain games he will get you off your seat, and he will get your jaw dropping in awe and all that kind of stuff with some of the stuff he can do. It's just a question is, if let's say we do sign him permanently, put him on a very big contract, and commit big funds to him, that comes with expectation of being that star guy on the level of some of the best players in the Premier League, winger-wise. And does he consistently bring that kind of level of quality? That's the question. And I think he has done in some seasons. I think the guy says 1 in 3. I think maybe, the last couple of seasons, that's true. But I remember he had a couple of seasons where he was bang on it. He was linked with Arsenal, and everyone was saying this guy, he's going to world-class territory. And then for one reason or another, it just kind of he never kicked on from that, and his form's kind of gone inconsistent, and he hasn't kind of got that level of consistency that'll put him in the upper echelons of there's a reason why, let's be honest, there's a reason why he's linked with us and not the bigger clubs, but it's because of that consistency, isn't it? So those are the question marks. I think a loan deal would obviously be preferable right now just because of those concerns, but I have to say, if we were to sign him, given the talent he has, it would be a mouth-watering prospect. I couldn't help but get super excited and buzzing about a signing like him. And that, as we were saying, I really think having that player with De Zerbi in the squad Imagine you have some like Kudus and Savinho running at their fullback for 60. Obviously, Leao's probably going to want to start. I'm just saying, imagine having them running at their fullback for 60 minutes, or 70 minutes, then you got Leao coming off the bench, or even Leao doing the same, and then Savinho coming off the bench, and up against a tiring fullback, and how much damage they can do. And I also think Leao would be the only player who you would back to like just get the ball, cut inside and whip one into the far corner from 25 yards. I don't see any other players right now being capable of that, like on a consistent basis, where I think Leao maybe could be that special guy. So basically, my point would be is I don't see us getting anyone as talented as Leao through the door. But the question mark is talent enough, I guess.
Yeah. I think as well, like when you're talking about it, like Roberto De Zerbi could be the perfect coach he needs right now to get that spark back in his career, because it has, like, as much as the goal, there's been question marks over him for the last 2 or 3 years now. So when you mention it's gone stale at AC Milan, has he had a coach like a Roberto De Zerbi which will get the best out of him, which is an attacking coach, a forward-thinking coach, and that has proven to get the best out of like attacking talent? I don't know if he has. So the Premier League and Roberto De Zerbi could just be the spark that he needs to get back to his best.
All the things with Zerbi, he's so passionate and he's so kind of obsessed with football, and he lives for it. And we heard Maddison talking about how after training, he's there in the training ground like hours after the game, analysing and all that kind of stuff. And he lives and breathes it. So if Leao is, if his mind is wandering on other things, he wants to have a rapping career and all this kind of stuff. That he's been doing that, and he's had some distractions. If there's any element of that, De Zerbi will not have it. You know what I mean? So if there's one manager to keep him on, focused on the task at hand, it could be De Zerbi 100%.
Exactly. He'll throw away his microphone. That's for sure. But yeah, that's Rafael Leao. Let us know your thoughts on him in the comment section below. Would you like to see him at Spurs next season, potentially on a loan, or even to go? Like 60 million is not exactly the craziest fee, like 60 million euros as well.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, to get a player of that quality, it's not. But as I say, I mean, there is a reason why he's available for that little amount, and there's a reason why none of the other top clubs are currently circling around him.
Yeah.
So you got to take that into consideration. But maybe there's an opportunity there. Maybe they're missing a trick. That could be possible as well.
We'll see. We'll leave that decision up to Roberto De Zerbi, and if he feels that he can get him on side, then I'm all for it. Next up, let's talk about Summerville, an interesting situation here. So Ben Jacobs has said that Manchester United have open talks with West Ham over Crescencio Summerville. Direct club-to-club talks are underway. But any bid can be contingent on Rashford being sold. Sky Sports have said that Tottenham do still remain in the race, and with United aware, they could lose out to Spurs if they don't move quickly. We have got the opportunity to do something hilarious once again right now.
We have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever. I guess if you're Man United, that is that is the worry. That is the concern when Tottenham are sniffing around at this current moment, because clearly we can offer better financial packages than them right now. So if we're seriously interested in Summerville, you've got to be running scared if you're Man United, clearly. I like Summerville. He's having a brilliant World Cup as well. He's actually been playing
a brilliant World Cup. He's gone home now.
Yeah, he's gone home, but he was playing really well. He was playing actually mostly on the right-hand side, interestingly enough, but still putting in some really good performances, showing he can maybe a bit more versatile than I gave him credit for, because I didn't really see him having too many great games on the right, but he's actually done really well. I think he's not as special as someone as Leao, but maybe he's a bit more consistent, or he has been over the last 6 months anyway. A bit more consistent than someone like a Rafael Leao. He's great dribbling in between the lines, and he's very fleet of foot. He can dance in between players. He attacks a space with such speed. It's really, really impressive, Summerville. I also think he's got more to bring in terms of goals and assists. I think we saw glimpses of it last season with West Ham, and I think he's got a lot more in his locker. A few times he would have a shot which hit the bar or post, like from range and stuff, and inches away, and if he just sharpens up, he could easily be upping those goal contributions consistently, in my opinion. So there's a very good player there. Similar to what I would say about Nusa, I would say he's probably more an alternative to Savinho than maybe Leao. But I do like him. I don't think he's a bad option at all. I think again. I think Savinho is a bit more creative than Summerville, but Summerville, I think, is a bit more of a goal threat, and as well, I think he's better when cutting inside than Savinho, who I think prefers to go on the outside. So just different, depending on what Zerbi wants.
I really like Summerville, and I think he could blow up even more if he was in a better team and a more functioning team. We saw he was in West Ham, and he had to do a lot of things just on his own at times. Like he was like a one-man attack at times. Can you imagine if he had an actual team around him to actually play off? So I think if he goes to Manchester United, if he goes to Tottenham, I think you'll see an even better version of Summerville than what you've seen for West Ham last season. And I think for the last 3-4 months of the season, he was electric. He really was. It was hard to get the ball off him. He was scoring goals. So I would definitely be open to seeing Summerville at Spurs. It's just a question. I'm just still unsure of who I prefer over Summerville and Savinho, because I do think, like I agree, I think it will only be one of the two. So I'd be happy for either, to be honest. But I think Summerville has probably proven in the Premier League that he's more able to get goals. Savinho hasn't proven it just yet, but I think he does have the talent to go and do it. So yeah, it's an interesting one, and I think the price for Summerville will be a lot lower probably than what a Savinho would cost.
I don't know. I mean, they were saying 45, but first of all, with the World Cup, has that gone up? And also with Fernandes' sale, has that gone up a bit? And they were very strict with their price for Fernandes, weren't they?
Yeah.
Of 85 million. If they're doing that, will the price be, I'm not 85 for Summerville, but, something like 60, 55 with interest from Man United, from Spurs, and maybe other clubs apparently for Summerville. So I do wonder what the price would be now. I wonder if it's gone up.
Could be. It very well could be. But, we know that they said, like, if a player wants to go, he can go. I wonder if they agreed on a price or something before he went to the World Cup, because we know that kind of talks were going on then. So, yeah, it remains to be seen. We don't know. There's no figure banded around, really, like there was with Mateus Fernandes. So I would suspect like something like 50 million, I would say, at the top end.
You would think so. I mean, there was talks of 45 before the World Cup. So let's see. But I just do wonder if now they've got a big windfall, I wonder if they put the price up.
So that's Summerville. Let's talk about Lucas Bergvall. Spurs journo talking about him once again. And he's saying that he understands that Tottenham and Lucas Bergvall prefer to avoid a transfer away from the club. However, if a good enough offer were to come in, Bergvall, the situation could be reignited. Bergvall actually does want to stay at Tottenham. However, he wants assurances of playing time that Spurs cannot provide. The situation is open. So, yeah, I mean, look, I think that's kind of where we all thought it was. Like, Bergvall's not pushing for a move because he wants to leave Spurs. He's pushing for a move because he wants to get playing time. He would ideally like to do that at Spurs, but that's not looking likely.
Yeah, and I think, look, the goal has always been to make it at Tottenham. He came here to be here for a long time, and he came here to develop with a lot of promises from Spurs that he's going to come in and be a starter, and we're gonna develop him and give him the game time and all that kind of stuff. So obviously last season hasn't worked out. As I've said, I think last season has really, and also the prospect of having a similar season next season has really changed his perspective on what the future of his career potentially could look like, because he doesn't want 2 years of stagnation. I think if we could promise him that game time next season, I'm sure he'd be happy to stay, but unfortunately it just isn't the case. And it's just kind of a timing thing. It's a shame if it ends this way, because I think we all want Bergvall to be part of this future of this football club, and we all believe in his talent. But I think last season's done a lot of damage to him, and I think it's kind of scarred him a bit, I feel, maybe, like what happened last season. And he just needs, I feel like he needs to make assurances of what's going to happen. And if he has 2 years stagnation at his age, that can be very, very harmful. So I think if Bergvall got those assurances, he would stay. But he's not getting them, and look at the signings we're making. So, he's looking at the situation like, well, as much as I would prefer to stay, it doesn't look like it's the best decision for my career to stay here right now. And you could probably get a bit of money, to help ease the burden on whatever money you're spending. So could it work out for everyone?
Look, the guy's got top talent. He'll have no end of problem finding a club and finding consistent football somewhere. It just feels like the times just aren't aligning for Spurs right now because we're going in a different direction. So if he does go, I wish him the best, and I'm sure he's going to have a top career. But if he does go as well, I want to see us put some clauses like we did for Luka Vuskovic as well. I
do wonder. No, I mean, someone said go a whole stream without mentioning Ange, but I'm going to mention him. I do wonder if he did got season 3, what would Bergvall be this season, and would we be in this position with him? But who knows what? Obviously, that's a different timeline. But we know that Ange liked to play Bergvall in his best position, when that got the best out of him. And if I'm sure he would have played a lot of minutes there last season if Ange was there. Would you have
taken season 3 with Ange, now knowing what Thomas Frank season has brought us?
Oh yeah, I would have taken season 3 with Ange for sure. What do you mean?
Because Thomas Frank has come in, nearly got us relegated, and now we've shut ourselves and started spending big.
I would in that context. Yeah, I still would have taken it because I think Ange might well have. Look, I don't think Ange would have done as badly as Frank, but he might well have been gone anyway, and we might be back in a similar situation. So, I think I would have done so many things to avoid what happened last season. That's for sure.
But last season could have been the best thing that ever happened to us.
Potentially, if that's the reason why we're splashing the cash. Yeah.
Anyway, let's finish off on Joao Palhinha. All the reliable journalists, Tom Barkley, Fabrizio Romano, Florian Plettenberg, saying he is 100% leaving Tottenham now, and he has taken to social media to write a heartfelt message to the Spurs fans. He says, "Dear COYS, I am writing this message with a heartfelt gratitude for all the kindness and support you've always shown me throughout my time at this special club. Representing Tottenham has been profound impact on my life, not only professionally, but also personally, and it is something I will carry with me forever. I always tried to repay in the best way I could all the affection, respect and trust you showed me both on and off the pitch. As I have said before, what truly defines a great institution and a great football club is its supporters, players, managers and directors come and go, but the fans remain. You are the ones that keep the flame of this club burning season after season. I could not leave without expressing my special thanks to my teammates, the club's directors, the fitness coaches, the entire medical team, and especially my dear Alessandra Massimi. London gave me more than my professional career. It gave me 2 homes that I will always carry in my heart with the utmost respect and gratitude. I say goodbye to you all. Thank you so much. Come on, you Spurs," with a white heart emoji. That is a very heartfelt message. And he does go with a heavy heart because he provided so much for us. They say never fall in love with a lone player. I did fall in love with Joao Palhinha towards the end there. He saved us from relegation, and we'll always look back on him fondly. And, you look back on him as probably the most successful loan player we've ever brought in.
Oh, I had a Klinsmann.
Apart from Klinsmann.
I think is he a legend? I think legend's a stretch. Cult hero, for sure. He's definitely a massive cult hero at Tottenham, considering what he's done and how he left us and how he saved us at the back end of last season. It's sad to see him go. As much as I agree with the decision, I think it is the right decision to not re-sign him and go in a different direction and really start going for real quality in the central midfield, which we just lacked so much last season. I did obviously grow very fond of Palhinha and his mentality, his personality. He really took to the Tottenham fans. As much as whatever anyone wanted to say about Palhinha, whether he lacked this or that or whatever flaws he had to his game, no one can deny that every game he put in 110%. He gave his
top mentality.
Yeah, he put his heart, blood, sweat and tears into every single game. Every single minute he was on the pitch, he gave everything. And 100%, if it wasn't for him, would most likely be in the Championship with those moments last season. Big moments. He was a bit of a clutch player in big moments in big games as well. And he never got overawed by occasions. He was great in those aspects. Obviously, I think when it comes to De Zerbi and how we want to be playing football next season, for me, it was just never really a natural fit. As much as De Zerbi was always talking him up and saying he 100% wants him to stay, at the end of the day, I think in his heart of hearts, I think De Zerbi knows that it probably wasn't one of the natural fit.
He might have wanted him to stay. He just wanted Fernandes and Tonali more.
Yeah, exactly. So, look, I wish him all the best. I do wonder where he ends up. I wonder, is he going somewhere else in the Premier League? Does he go back to Sporting? It's going to be
saying
interesting.
Sporting, the finances could be a bit too much for them.
Look, he's going to have suitors because he's a good player, and I think everyone knows from his time at Fulham. Yeah, from his time at Fulham, and obviously the season at Tottenham. I think people are looking at thinking, yeah, we could do that with that kind of player in our squad. So I'm sure he'll land on his feet. And it is what it is when it comes to Joao. But best of luck, Joao. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for our Premier League status, and we wish you all the best.
Absolutely. Big up to Joao Palhinha. And that is your Tottenham update for today. Let's move on.